So, welcome you all. So, for this webinar, so this is the second part of breastfeeding journey. So, we already did the first part, which was where we covered about the preparation during pregnancy. So, we covered about how the baby is getting ready for suckling, how your breasts are getting ready, and what is so unique about breast milk that we have to breastfeed. All these things we discussed. I'm audible, right? Am I
Yes, we can
audible?
hear you. Yes.
Okay, great. So today's session, we are doing the second part. Here it is going to be exclusively on how we will work on breastfeeding after the baby arrives. So we assume that you've just delivered, so now we are going to get starting to do the breastfeeding journey. So we are going to cover mostly till 1 month, because this is the very crucial time where you are trying to calibrate the milk production. You want to ensure that you have sufficient milk for the baby. Any crucial, so we are going to focus only on this. Um, so the first thing I always like to begin is you need to understand how your body is working to make the milk production happen. So last time we already discussed that lactogenesis 1 is the time, that is from mid-pregnancy onwards, your breast has started making changes. The epithelial cells, get transformed to become lactocytes, which are the ones which have started to make milk. So this starts in mid-pregnancy. But this lactogenesis or active milk production will start only at the time of delivery. So once the baby is delivered, the placenta comes out. This is what triggers, there is a change in hormones. The prolactin is starting to get secreted. So this will initiate or start the milk production. There is something which is very interesting, which I want you to nicely keep in your mind, because this lactogenesis 1 or just the initiation of breastfeeding will happen irrespective of whether you are breastfeeding on day 1 or day 2 or day 3. So the initiation will happen, for some reason. If the mother and baby need to be separated, sometimes the baby is kept on observation, baby is in the NICU, so the mother is here. So on day 1 breastfeeding didn't happen. Right after delivery, breastfeeding didn't happen. So the baby came back to the mother only on day 2. Breastfeeding can happen successfully, because initiation of lactation, the triggering of milk production, is by the birth of the baby, by the expulsion of the placenta. That does not require the baby suckling input, definitely, right? So this is something we need to be clear, so we don't need to get too much work done. Yes, we do want to start breastfeeding as soon as possible, but if such a situation arises, we don't need to panic. Your body will make sufficient milk, because to start the process of milk production, it does not require the baby to be suckling on the breast. So till day 2, it is absolutely fine if the baby did not suckle. The breast still keeps making milk. So it will start the process. Milk production will be on. So from day 3 till day 7 or day 8, this is called the lactogenesis 2. See, there will be variation in the way researchers, are putting it, though some people say it is day 8, it can go on for 2 to 3 weeks or up to 4 weeks after the birth of the baby. So the lactogenesis too can be a little longer. It need not be, it may not be restricted to 8 days. These are all based on research. Okay. So what is very significant about this time is that you say, now I am getting milk. Earlier, when they see only the colostrum, you see only drops of milk coming out, which looks little colorless or light golden color. So from third day onwards, when you start getting milk flow coming out, so that and there is obvious filling up of the breast becomes full, there may be leaking from the breast. So you get very clear, indication that milk is coming, right? So this is the time when there is endocrine control, that is prolactin, that hormone level keeps on increasing. So the level increases and oxytocin level also increases. Last time also we discussed about oxytocin. See, oxytocin is the hormone which is essential for the uterus to contract. That the same hormone is responsible for ejection of the milk. We will talk about that a little later. But this oxytocin and prolactin are the main hormones which help in building up your milk supply. So these levels are building up from day 3 onwards. And the more the oxytocin, the more the prolactin. They keep on augmenting each other so that you get more milk supply and more, expression of milk outside. So these levels keep on increasing, and for this to increase more, it requires suckling. Because when the baby is suckling on the breast, your body will release more oxytocin, and then this will trigger more milk production. So from till day 3, even if your baby is not suckling, you will make milk. The process has started because it only requires to give birth. The moment you give birth, that process gets started, lactogenesis 1. But for phase 2 to begin, it requires babies after suckling. So in case, baby is in the hospital for a little longer, then we would recommend you to start expressing milk so that the hormone levels will increase. So you can start increasing or stepping up your milk production. So this is very, 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 very important for all mothers to remember. So even if you deliver preterm, so mothers who have delivered at 28 weeks, 30 weeks, day 3 say they have to start expressing milk out. Whether the baby is ready to consume it or no, you can express the milk and store it, which can be used later on. But this is very important to build up the milk supply, because this is the time the lactocytes are getting calibrated for making milk. Why? Because the more suckling, the more number of prolactin receptors develop in the mammary glands. The lactocytes, they are there. They are there to make more milk, but they need to get signal. So the more signal they get, the more milk will be produced. So it is important that we give more signal to the lactocytes. That happens with suckling or with removal of milk, whichever is feasible. Right? So this is important for us to understand. So after this lactogenesis 2, so then comes the stage which is called the galactopoiesis. So typically they say from 7 days onwards, but it can be starting a little later also, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. This is the time when the breast milk is just based on demand supply. So the more the milk is removed, the more it will be made. So here the calibration has already happened. Lactogenesis 2 is very important because this is the time how much volume of milk the breast can make, that is decided. So the first 1 month, so though it is said that it is day 8, it can go on up to 1 month. So the first month is the period when the breast can decide how much milk it can make. It is calibrated. And then during the galactopoiesis, that is After 1 month, it is autocrine control. So it is not dependent on oxytocin levels, prolactin levels, though those hormones remain at a higher level. It is not dependent on that. How much milk is removed, that much milk is made. So it is, the control is very simple. So leaking breast or engorgement, all these things reduce after 1 month. So engorgement or too much of supply, all these things happen in the first month. After that, usually everything gets settled down. And there is also another factor, that is, local control, which is based on the feedback inhibitor of lactation. So this is another enzyme which is produced in the breast. So if you are feeding only on one breast, the other breast will get inhibited, so that it will prevent those tissues from getting overfull with milk and then get hurt. So you have to feed on both the sides, otherwise it will inhibit the production of milk on one breast. So this is the local control which is there. So we need to feed the baby equally on both the sides, or both on the left side and on the right side, so that both the breast will have its maximum capacity to make milk. Okay. So this is something important which I want all of you to know. And the first feed has to be breastfeed. So we already discussed about that. So we want to know when actually it is, if it is a vaginal birth, right on the delivery table within 30 minutes to 60 minutes. So your, maybe just the placenta has delivered and you're still on the delivery table. The doctor has not done the suturing yet. So at that time you will. Okay. Someone is
There is a person
there.
by name Swati trying to join in.
Yeah. I was not able to see that on the screen. Okay. ठीक है. Yeah. Sorry, Swati. So little new for me. So I'm not able to see multiple screens. So I have to reduce one to be able to see that.
No, I understand, but I am also in the same boat. But that's why I called.
So the first feed. Pardon? Someone was saying something. Okay, so we already discussed that the first feed has to be breastfeed. This is a, so if it is a vaginal birth within 30 minutes to 60 minutes, within the first hour, the breastfeeding has to happen, because that is the time the baby is most alert. After 1 hour, usually babies are also tired with birth, so they may go off to sleep, which is called a recovery sleep, which then the baby is little difficult to be woken up for feeding. So within the first, after birth, the first hour is the time the baby is alert. After that, the baby may be very sleepy for the next 15 to 20 hours. After that, the baby may want to feed vigorously, right? So if it is a C-section, within 2 hours, right on the delivery table, also breastfeeding can happen. And or if that is not possible, during the recovery phase, within 2 hours, you can start with the breastfeeding. So there is a nice video which is the breast crawl, which you can all see in YouTube. So which will show how the baby can vigorously move towards the mother's breast and start the first feeding. Okay, so now that the baby has arrived, so you've done the first feed right on the delivery table. So obviously you didn't have to hold the baby. So the nurse put the baby on your chest. The baby wriggled, tried to nuzzle onto the nipples, and you could hold the baby. So everything is good. But after that, the first feed you are going to do, you need to know three important things. So how you can position and hold the baby, how you should hold the breast, and how to know that the baby is ready to feed. Because these are the things which commonly come to the mind of mothers, because we have not handled newborn babies so often. So, you don't know from where you can hold the baby will be stable. And many of us think that the breast will start leaking milk and the baby will just hold like a bottle and then start drinking. That doesn't happen. So it becomes a little tricky thing. And we may see that the baby is sleepy all the time. So you want to know how to keep the baby awake for feeds. So first thing first, we want to know about babies feeding cues. Newborn babies are totally different. They are very different from 40-day-old babies. The newborn babies are totally different. So it is very essential to look at them closely and look for their cues, right? So it is good to keep admiring their features, but we should also see what they are trying to say because their cues mean a lot. So the first row shows the baby's early feeding cues. No, the baby is awake but quiet, making pouting mouth, or just moving the mouth little bit and turning the head, trying to root, something touching, and then the baby tries to move. So this is an early feeding cue. So this is the time the baby is going to give you time. So if you are ready at this time, you just pick up the baby, you can adjust yourself, get to a comfortable position, and you can just begin the feeding process. So you can go about in an unhurried way. If this gets missed, but this may not take a long time, or sometimes the baby may switch from early feeding cue to the next, mid-level feeding cue within a period of 1 minute also. So you just need to keep watching intently where the baby is moving. There are lot of movements which are happening, and the baby may do some movements in the mouth. It's trying to smacking movements in the mouth, and the baby is trying to put the hand in the mouth and small fussing. Like and then the baby may quieten. So this is a mid feeding cue. At this point of time, you should definitely take the baby close to your breast. If this is missed, then the baby may start crying. Crying is the late feeding cue. You can see how baby's crying is. Baby starts crying intensely, right? So you cannot shake a rattle in front of the baby and calm the baby down because newborn babies are too immature in terms of their brain to be able to calm down with what you're showing because they have not seen those things before. So they need to be calmed down by suckling. So if they are very irritable, they are very fussy, they cannot calm themselves on their own and start feeding. And one more important thing I want you to know is, let me see if I can get the pointer. I'm not able to take the pointer out. Let me see 1 second. So what I want you to see is the baby's tongue position. If you can see in the second row in the mid cues, so see how the baby's tongue is at the base of the mouth, ready to receive the nipple. The baby is ready to pick up the nipple. So this is very important for suckling behavior. And in contrast, see the tongue position of the baby who is crying. The tongue has rolled up and it is blocking. So the crying baby will not be able to take the nipple. So this will prevent a suckling behavior. So many times mothers may see the baby crying and try to put the crying baby on the breast. No, this will not work. So if your baby is already crying, you have to calm the baby down. So you may swaddle the baby or put the baby on the shoulder, pat gently, wait for the baby to settle down, and then put the baby immediately on the breast. You will not wait for 3-4 minutes after that. Right? So this is important that we are able to put the baby to the breast before the baby gets fussy. Right? In case the baby is very sleepy, some babies are very sleepy, it is 2 hours, they have waking up, you can just open up the wrapping. Keep the baby only on diaper. And very important to remove the cap. So once the baby is unwrapped, the baby will start wriggling a little. And if you gently touch and stroke the baby, usually babies wake up, then it can be, the baby can be fed. So this is one way to get started. Okay, so now that you have woken up the baby, now it is time to hold the baby correctly and put the baby on the breast. So, you can see all these things on YouTube and on many of the websites also. So I want to tell you how the hand position of the mother goes. So, so the first picture is the position, which is the cross cradle hold. That is, the mother is feeding on the left breast. She is holding the baby with the right hand. So the right hand holds the baby when the mother is feeding with the left hand, on the left breast. This is the cradle hold, the third one, where the baby is feeding on the left breast, on the same hand the mother is holding. So what is important for you to know is, with one hand you have to hold the baby. So you will use obviously the entire forearm and the hand. You need to span your hand, open your hand like this. This is a football hold. This is suitable if you have had a C-section birth. So there is no pressure on the front of the belly, right? So see how the mother has spanned her hand. Between the thumb and the index finger, she has opened up the hand nicely, which is the place where the baby's head can be cradled. We will baby's head against the breast, because baby moves away from the breast. So and see how the positioning is. The baby is turned towards the mother. When you see from the side, you see only the cheeks here of the baby, right? So this is how the baby needs to be positioned. And nothing other than the mother's breast should touch the baby's cheeks or the mouth or the skin of the face. Okay, so we already discussed about the rooting and sucking reflexes. So anywhere else there is touch on the baby's cheeks, baby's chin, the baby turns towards that, baby gets upset, you get upset, baby is not moving towards the breast, baby is moving elsewhere. So you have to keep everything else away. And it is a good idea to keep your breast nicely uncovered. Right? So the entire breast needs to be open so you can view the breast properly, you can see the baby clearly, and you will be able to feed the baby comfortably. So these are all less commonly used position in the initial days. So if you are in the hospital, so at this point of time, these may not be used, but sometimes try this. This is the laid back position where you can have a pile of pillows behind and you can recline and you can put your baby on you. For some mothers who are finding it difficult to position the baby, this position is great because there is no need to hold the baby. The baby is resting on you. Mothers who have very large breasts, who find it very difficult to hold the baby, hold the breast. So this is a good idea. Or you can even use lying down position. If you have had a vaginal birth, the stitches down below are hurting you, you find it difficult to sit, baby is wanting to feed off, you are tired, you can try this position. There is no harm in feeding the baby in the lying down position. Only thing to remember when you're feeding in the lying down position, don't wrap the baby. Unwrap the baby when you are feeding the baby in the lying down position. Okay, so don't worry about the baby feeling cold. When the baby is close to the mother's skin and while breastfeeding, your body will release oxytocin. This will give a lot of warmth to you. You feel very warm. You feel sweaty when you are breastfeeding. So that will keep the baby also warm. A breastfeeding baby never feels cold because the baby is close to the mother's skin. So you don't need to worry about that. Okay, the next most crucial thing to learn in the first 24 to 48 hours. So you are not able to hold the baby correctly, someone can hold, someone can, help with the positioning. What is the most important thing for you to learn? You have to learn this in the first 24 to 48 hours. That is the latch. What is latch? The baby should be able to hold the nipple and the areola well and suckle well. This is something very, very important because only when the baby latches properly will milk get transferred. Only then the baby can get the milk. Otherwise, the baby is just nibbling on the nipple, leave you with a sore nipple, and the baby will remain hungry. Baby keeps crying, mother feels that I don't have milk, which may not be true. It is that the baby should get a proper latch. And most of the feeding problems, no weight gain happening. Many of these, that which happens in the first month is because of latch issues only. So it makes sense to focus on getting a correct latch. And if the latch doesn't happen within 24 to 48 hours, that is within 2 days of giving birth, you will need help. Take help, get everything right. Because from third day onwards, the breast is starting to make more milk. It is very essential that the baby removes all the milk for baby's betterment and for you to keep making more milk. So you want to address the latch issue as soon as possible. So if you feel that baby is not latching well, don't keep on waiting. By second day, you should ensure that the baby is latching well. If it is not happening, then take care. Okay, so how do we get a correct latch? So it's a very nice thing. So you can see how the baby is being held. So you can again think of how the baby needs to be positioned. So you can see the thumb of the mother on the baby's ear. So you can very well understand the mother has fanned the hand. So she has made a nice open hand so that the baby's head is resting on the web space. And you can see that the baby's head is straight. Baby's head and body are in one line. It is not bent in the front. And see how the nipple is pointing towards the baby's nose. You don't push the nipple into the baby's mouth. The touch of the nipple on the baby's upper lip will cause the rooting reflex. The baby will make a big open mouth. See how the baby has made a big open mouth in the second picture. While doing this, the baby will take the head slightly back. We should let that happen. Only then the baby can have a big mouthful of the breast. And when the baby is latched well, then you can see that you don't get to see the areola outside. You don't see the brown portion outside. The baby's lips are like fish mouth, flanged out. And you can see how the chin is nicely digging into the mother's breast. And cheek is in contact with the mother's breast. So this is the way you will figure out that the baby is latching properly. And another thing is, see how the mother is keeping her thumb away from the baby's mouth. So the breast needs to be held little away from the areola, not pinching near the areola, little away from the areola, and then the baby can latch properly. So this is the mother's view, from the mother's point of view, how it looks like. So see how the mother is holding, what I was talking about, how you will hold the baby's head. So it is not here. You will not hold the baby here. You will hold the baby at the base of the head. And this is the portion of the nipple and the areola which goes inside the baby's mouth. More of the lower portion of the areola has to go inside the baby's mouth. So this will ensure that the nipple doesn't get hurt. So when the more of the lower portion of the areola goes inside, see how the chin comes in contact with the breast. The chin actually, digs into the breast, and cheek comes in contact with the mother's breast. So now we can see how the baby is positioned. So remember these things. The baby has to be belly on belly. So from the side, you see only the baby's ear and the side of the cheeks. You should not see the baby's face in full. Right? So baby is, and the baby's head, body, hip, everything should be in one line. Means the baby should not be curled up. The baby's head should not be bent. So in this position also, you can see the mother is using a feeding pillow. See how the mother has positioned her hand. Now she is using a football hold. This mother is using a cross cradle hold. See how they are positioning the baby: head, body, hips in one straight line, right? So this is when the latch can happen properly. So to have a deep latch, you need to point the nipple to the nose. See, when the baby will try to make an open mouth, the head will tilt back. The baby is searching for the nipple. The searching happens with the head tilting gently back. With that, there is a big opening mouth, and then the baby nicely latches. So chin with a wide open mouth, then the baby can get the chin nicely closer to the breast. So the feeding duration. So how long now that the baby is nicely latched, so we want to know how long the baby is going to take to feed. So we will not interrupt the feed before 20 minutes. At least 20 minutes to 30 minutes the baby has to be feeding. But newborn babies tend to fall asleep, so they may sleep in between. So we can gently stroke the baby. That is why unwrapping the baby, not keeping the baby swaddled, will help, because the baby's skin, you can gently tickle the baby's tiny feet. You can touch the baby's ear. You can gently stroke the back. So this will encourage the baby to keep suckling. So baby doesn't want to leave. But if you feel uncomfortable after 30 minutes, if the baby still wants to feed, you can switch to the other breast. Right? So this is how you can decide how long to feed. And the next feed the baby can demand within 15 to 30 minutes also, which is absolutely normal. So don't expect babies to follow the clock. Babies cannot see the time. They go by their body system. Each baby is different, each mother is different. So let the baby decide. It is very, very normal for babies to ask for the next feed within 30 minutes also. So don't worry, just start feeding. You will follow the baby, you will not follow the clock. So this is what is called demand feeding. Whenever the baby demands, you will not say no, you will feed the baby. Scheduled feeding is done only for formula fed babies, because there can be possibility of overfeeding. Babies puke out, they won't be able to digest the milk. But as we discussed earlier, breast milk is like blood. It is all live tissue. It is readily absorbed. It does not require digestion time. Baby needs more and more of it. So there is no possibility of overfeeding a breastfed baby. So it is normal. Baby asks next feed within 30 minutes, you can go ahead and feed. But if the baby is not demanding for 2 hours, you cannot say, okay, go ahead, let me have a nice nap. So if the baby is not demanding a feed after 2 hours, you have to wake up the baby. Like what I told you earlier, unwrap the baby, remove the baby's cap, gently stroke the baby is ready for a feed. Okay, on an average, you will see that exclusively breastfed babies will wake up on their own 8 to 12 times at least, though it can go up to 18 times also in 24 hours. So the time you have given birth, the next 24 hours, don't think that you will need lot of rest. You need lot of practice breastfeeding, because the more practice you get, the better your latch will become. So you will become expert in latching the baby. See, it is after all a new skill which you have to learn. Baby has the baby has the reflexes of rooting and suckling, but you have to convert into a learned behavior. That will happen with repetitive practice. So the more practice you and your baby gets, the faster you are going to learn this skill. Okay, so now you knew how to latch the baby. So now you have to understand how your body is going to let down the milk. This is very, very important. So again, we are getting back to some bit of physiology, because we are going to understand how your body is going to allow the milk to flow outside. So there is a hormone called oxytocin. Every time the baby is suckling on the breast, so the signal goes to the posterior pituitary. There is a small gland at the base of your brain which will release a surge of oxytocin. What this oxytocin does, it will cause the myoepithelial cells, or the cells around the bulb-like lactocytes, the all the alveoli, it will contract, it will squeeze, and it will eject the milk outside. That is what we see as flowing of milk outside. This will happen more when you are having close contact, more of skin to skin contact with the baby, and touching the baby, and keeping the baby close to you will help in release of oxytocin, so better letdown will happen. Okay, and what can reduce the letdown is when you feel stressed out. So we want to reduce stress, right? The biggest stress for new mothers is, do I have milk? So just trust your body that you have enough milk and go ahead and start feeding the baby, right? And other thing which can happen is when you use nipple sheets for prolonged period of time, that can reduce the sensation which comes to the nipple, and it can reduce the letdown. So even though your body can make lot of milk, enough milk doesn't flow to the baby. So that is why nipple shields or things like that should not be used for prolonged time. It is used only for a short period of time. And remember that oxytocin will be released after the baby suckles for at least a minute and a half. So breastfeeding babies learn to wait. They suckle, and then the milk flows. Right? This surge in oxytocin will happen 3-4 times in a breastfeeding period. So if you are feeding for say 20 minutes, 30 minutes, baby will not get all the milk in one go. There is a surge of oxytocin, sorry, and baby gets the first installment of milk. And then after that, the baby keeps suckling. There is another surge of oxytocin. The second installment of milk comes. So baby gets milk in installments. That is the reason why we will not stop feeding in 5 minutes and say, okay, now the baby is sleeping, baby has enough milk. No, because the baby just had the first installment. There are 3 or 4 or 5 installments of milk which the baby will get only when you feed for a longer duration. So you will also get to know when when you are getting the flow of milk. So there can be tingling sensation on the breast when this is there from day 2 or day 3, or it is more pronounced once you start getting more milk. From day 3 it is getting more pronounced. So don't get upset if you don't feel all the signs or 2 or more signs on day 1. So at least 2 signs will be there. There can be tingling sensation, milk can start leaking from the same breast, from the other breast. And from the third day, after 96 hours, that is from the fourth day onwards, you can hear audible swallow. You can see that the baby is drinking milk. So at that time, the baby becomes quiet, and you can see that the sucking speed is like 1 suckle per second. The nose, you can see the flaring of the nostrils, showing that the baby is keen, concentrating and taking milk. You will feel uterine contraction. Every time you are feeding the baby, you also feel uterine contraction or feel period-like pains. You feel thirsty, you feel sleepy. All these things are signs that the milk is flowing out. There is one more hormone. This is the prolactin. So this hormone is also released when you are feeding the baby. But unlike oxytocin, which ejects the milk out, this prolactin is making more milk for the next feed. So when you let the baby suckle for this feed, oxytocin is helping to release the milk, and prolactin is helping you to make more milk for the next feed. And prolactin is released more in the night, so it makes sense to keep feeding often in the night, bottle or formula or any of those things, because prolactin is more in the night. You are going to increase your milk production by feeding more often in the night. So these are the signs that the baby is receiving milk. So when you are feeding the baby, many mothers will ask, how do I know? Is the baby getting milk or the baby is just suckling on empty breast? You can feel the letdown. So the signs of letdown you will start feeling. You can hear the audible swallow. This you will hear only from day 3 or day 4. So don't expect these to happen on day 1 or day 2. If you are a second time mother, it can still happen on day 1 or day 2 also. But more often we will see it on day 3 and day 4. And after the feed, you will see that the baby is leaving the breast on his own, satisfied. That satiated feeling you can see on the baby. So these are all signs that the milk has transferred. And when you're ending the feed, so now you know how long to feed and how to latch, all of those things. When you are ending the feed, you will not pull the nipple out of the baby's mouth. Rather, you put one finger inside the baby's mouth and break the suction. Baby is having a suction. So that suction you will break so that you can remove the nipple easily. Otherwise, the nipple can get hurt. So it is very essential that your fingers are clean. So wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water before you start feeding the baby. Okay. This is also important. How the nipple looks. You have to observe. Make it a practice to observe the nipple at the end of the feed. Now you can see the nipple of this mother. You can see how the nipple looks round and moist. So this is just after a feed. So after the nipple comes out from the baby's mouth, check how the nipple looks like. The nipple should look round and moist. If it is looking pinched, it may look like the tip of a lipstick, the new lipstick, how it looks. It may look like that, or it can just have a pinched appearance, or it looks dry. It is a sign that the nipple is getting pressed against the baby's hard palate, or the nipple is not far enough inside the baby's mouth. So next time you have to latch the baby more deeply so that the nipple will go far deeply inside the mouth that it won't get pressed, because it takes hardly 1 minute for the nipple to get damaged, and it takes a day or two for it to heal. So you have to make every attempt to avoid the nipple from getting hurt. So make it a practice that you observe the nipple at the end of each feed. So obviously, once the feed is over, you're going to put the baby upright for 15 minutes. So either you can put the baby on your chest so that the baby can remain upright, or you can just tilt the baby up so that you can, look at the baby. You can keep admiring the baby, talk to the baby, and if you keep the baby like that for around 15 minutes, that should be good enough. Otherwise, the baby can spit the milk. So this is something we want to avoid. So even if it is night time, ensure that you burp the baby before you put the baby back to sleep. So how to know if the baby is getting enough milk? So we should see from day 7, the number of wet nappies gives an indication. For an exclusively breastfed baby, there should be at least 6 to 8 wet nappies, in a 24-hour period from day 7 onwards. Okay. And the color of the poop, within the first 1 week, you will see that the color of the poop changes. The first poops of the baby are called the meconium, which is dark black in color. So breast milk works like a laxative. So the baby starts passing meconium faster if you put the baby on the breast. And the stool color has to change to ochre color. So it will keep changing from day 3 onwards. Only first 2 days you will see the dark stools. From day 3 it has to change to yellowish color, and from day 4, day 5 it becomes nice ochre. There may be seedled appearance, which is a transition stage before it becomes total ochre color. And baby should poop at least 4 to 5 times in a day. Baby's stools look little watery. Baby can pass stools 10 to 20 times in a day also. It is absolutely normal, nothing to worry. And the weight loss, which happens in the first few days, should not be more than 7%. More than 10% weight loss indicates that the baby is not getting enough milk. So mostly it is the latching issue which needs to be corrected. So further evaluation on better nourishment for the baby. And by 2 weeks, the baby usually regains the birth weight. So, gaining weight is also an indication that the baby is getting enough milk. On an average, exclusively breastfed babies will gain around 30 grams in a day. Once they have regained their birth weight, you will see that they will start gaining at the rate of 30 grams. Girls gain at a slower rate as compared to boys, but this is the average weight gain. On an average 30 grams, this is up to 2 months. After 2 months, babies will not gain so much weight. So don't get panicked. You should not compare with what the weight gain used to be at the earlier days. It will change. So caring for the breast, so you should wear comfortable bras. To use feeding bras, you go for ones like front open ones. Bras like this are not good. It can cause more pressure on the breast, and you won't be able to have a complete view of the breast. If there is a lump forming, there are some areas where the milk is not getting drained, you won't get to know. So it is very essential that to completely open up the breast and then feed the baby. Foods which are going to improve your milk supply, there are no magic food. It is only a clear and relaxed mind. Not even a malnourished mother. Malnourished mother can also make adequate milk for the baby at the cost of her own health. Right? So there is no magic food. So many mothers may say, see, I just had a C-section. I have not eaten, so I will not have milk. No, it is not like that. As long there is blood in your body, you will make milk. So the only thing which is required is adequate fluid. But don't dump yourself with too much fluid because that can also cause edema, fluid retention. So you need to drink to thirst. Listen to your body. On an average, 2 to 3 liters of water is more than enough. Eating a healthy, nutritious, home cooked meal is sufficient. Whatever is your family pattern, you can just follow that. Some herbs which can increase your milk production are fenugreek or methi, fennel or what is that called? Preparations. These can also help in increasing your milk production. It is a good idea to include coconut and garlic because it will have antifungal properties also. Traditionally, there is a lot of ghee which is included in new mother's diet. Go ahead and take it. Don't bother too much about your weight gain because it can change the fat quality of your milk. So it can help in improving the fat content, so helps in weight gain for the baby. Any medicines for increasing milk production, you will not take just like that. Only prescribed by your doctor, you can take those medicines. So to have a adequate milk supply for your baby, these are the things that you need to follow. You have to feed the baby on demand. So breastfeeding baby works on demand. So you have to follow the demand of the baby. Demand can change for each baby and for the same baby from for different days. So today the baby is having a different demand. Today, tomorrow it can change. It can be different in the daytime, different in the night time. Just go with the flow. And very, very important is to check for the latch. Good latch is very important for proper transfer of milk. And be aware of the let down reflex. Keep yourself relaxed. Keep all other stress away to one side. And just keep touching the baby, stroking the baby, think lovingly about the baby. So there will be, better let down of the milk. Right? And you can improve the flow of milk by massaging the breast during feed because it will increase the fat content in the milk also. So these are called breast compressions. So there is one more advantage when you do massage of the breast. You will ensure that there are no pockets of the breast which are left unemptied because there can be lumps which can be formed. It can later on lead to abscess. So we don't want all of those. So keep massaging the breast. Ensure that each breast is emptied to the maximum. At the end of the feed, the breast has to become soft. It is in a soft breast that the baby will get more of fat. The more the baby feeds on a softer breast, more of fat the baby is going to get. Okay. So the longer the baby feeds, the more of the hind milk, which is rich in fat, the baby is going to get. Okay. To summarize, so for every mother, there is going to be copious flow of milk from day 3. So you will get milk by day 3, whether you breastfeed the baby in the first 2 days or no. But if you want to increase the milk supply, you have to breastfeed the baby from day 3 definitely, or you have to start removing milk, whichever is feasible. And proper positioning, good latch are very essential for breastfeeding success. And if latching is not happening within 48 hours, don't wait, ask for help. Okay. And breastfeeding babies will feed at least 8 to 12 times, if not more. So don't get worried if anybody says that no, your baby is feeding so often, baby should not feed every 30 minutes. No, nothing like that. Every baby is different. Babies can feed 8 times in a day or 18 times in a day, depending on the breast storage capacity. And babies whims and fancies. That's absolutely fine. So empty the breast thoroughly for each feed so that there will be more milk made for the next feed. And be aware that stress can reduce the flow of milk. Nothing else can. Not the food you eat, not the amount of sleep you get. So don't worry about any of those. Don't accumulate stress in your body. Just enjoy this phase. So now let us take questions. If someone wants to ask anything, any questions?
Hi, ma'am.
Am I still there? I don't know
Hello.
what's happening.
Hello.
Hi.
Ma'am, I've typed
Hi.
in my question in the chat regarding the burping.
Hi, you can hear me?
Hello.
Hear me?
Yes. Yes, I have typed in my question in the chat regarding burping. Yes.
Release little bit air or it will be a soft sound. Sometimes there is no sound also. It's all absolutely fine. So we need to keep the baby vertical for 15 minutes so that any air bubbles which are there, which will be removed. Because babies' sphincters are not well developed. You know, there is a small cap above the baby's belly. So this cap is not well developed. This is the one which prevents the milk from coming up. So it will take time for this cap to get well developed. So if you put the baby down, all the milk is going to come up. So the baby is likely to spit the milk and it can go through the nose also. So we don't want that. So it is good to keep the baby upright. So 15 minutes to 20 minutes is a decent time to allow all the milk to settle down into the belly and all the air to come outside.
Does
Any
it
other
mean
question anyone has? Yeah, बोलिए.
does it mean that the baby is full?
Hello,
Like,
can you hear me?
if yes, if the baby has taken a burp, it's only release of air. It does not mean that the baby is full, right?
Baby is never full because
Okay.
breast milk is fully absorbed. So, you know, even if the baby is not latching properly, sometimes the baby makes sounds while suckling. So then also the baby may gulp lot of air. Even a crying baby will gulp lot of air. Then also if you put the baby on the shoulder, the baby keeps burping. So it has nothing to do with the volume of milk that has been consumed. It only says that there is some air bubble in the stomach which comes out. That's all.
Thank you.
Any other question anyone has? Okay. So no questions. So we will stop going to discuss some other topic. So if you want to cover some other topic which is relevant for pregnancy or for the breastfeeding time, so you can put the message in the group. So we can try and cover those topics as well. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Nigam. Bye.